What's up, guys and gals? Red Icing back to talk about Persona 5. Sorry I didn't post more last weekend, but I had some things to do, and I also wanted to wait and see if more info was released before I talked about this subject. It seemed like new info was released constantly, but it seems to have died down for now, and will pick back up next month during the livestream event on July 19th. Well, it's finally time to get into the Persona acquisition system. All we had up until this point was a few vague scenes and photos, but the new gameplay trailer shed a lot of light onto the discussion. A little disclaimers before we go into this. A lot of information in this video involves theories, so not everything I say is concrete info. Also, I am not an expert, but a fan and a researcher. I may make mistakes, and new info may come out nullifying some of my statements, so be sure to check the video date and leave annotations on to see corrections. If you see a mistake of mine, point it out immediately so a correction can be made. With all of that said, let's take a look at the new system for Persona 5. Now, quickly, a lot of you just heard me say, new system, and are about to type in a comment that this was a system back in Persona 1 and 2, Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment. But give me a second to explain why I said this. The negotiation system from those three games is not exactly what we are looking at here. The new system is called Hold Up. It has a surprising amount of differences. While it still holds the attributes of talking to a persona in order to acquire them and some of the items or money they hold, the context around Hold Up makes it something entirely new. Negotiation involved talking with a persona and demon and finding out which voice signs they'd like to hear, or you could take the option of bribing them to join your team. Yes, threatening was also an option, but Hold Up is way more sinister. In the trailer, we saw that the party would weaken all of the enemies first, before initiating a siege maneuver, which wasn't a characteristic of Persona 1 and 2. This doesn't suggest a negotiation, but rather something along the lines of a mugging. I know some of you think a mugging is also a form of negotiation, which is an argument on semantics, and hey, that's what this part is about, so good job. Amongst the options given during a holdup, we can see that there are options to take money and items from the persona as well. Combine these with options with weakening of the persona, and we see a much more harsh and threatening system that seems to focus on power and dominance in most cases. But it is shown to acquire a persona, you must remind them of who they are, which may take some research into who the persona actually was in mythology. That part alone seems to be taking a little influence from P3 and 4, as you must turn a wild enemy into a friendly subordinate who finally knows who they are. It goes a little further by also having the rest of the personas on the field in a weakened state as well. So, looking at that, I must ask this. When the first trailers came out suggesting a player must strive for freeing themselves, why does it seem like they are enslaving personas? It just seems a little contradictory. For now, we will leave that conundrum alone and focus on something else. That something else is another subject not explained as of yet, or at the date of this video, or to my knowledge. What are the unseen factors that affect persona acquisition? I already stated a weakening of the enemy, but it doesn't seem to be so cut and dry. Seems a little bit too much like Pokemon, but I may be wrong. And this is just the new mechanic they added into the game so new players to the Persona series can quickly adapt. However, there is still some chances of acquisition being influenced by several underlying variables. Those variables listed here. Social stats, player stats, the health points of a persona in question, amount of personas on the field, daily changes like the moon from P3 or the weather from P4, cooperation link levels, the adjectives before a persona's name, and so much more. This recent trailer depicted the first dungeon, so it seems rudimentary that a player learn the system and have easy acquisition personas to have to fight. So what factors have we not seen yet? It's just a cool thing to think about for now. Another subject I must touch on is that a picture came out suggesting that the hold-up system can be used on bosses, and this is huge. It suggests that you can talk down a boss character. The requirements for this to happen is still all in theory, so I will skip over it. However, if we as a player have the option to talk down a boss, it may lead to the ending system and how that will work. It's a cool thing, and I can't wait to see more of it. Okay, One last argument before the end of this video. I've read theories and watched videos ever since the trailer came out, especially since this video is a week late. But most of them seem to be forgetting something, and that is the possibility of multiple fights. During this scene, we see the notes from answering correctly, but this is a low-level persona. Is it too out of the question to think that a persona will need to be encountered multiple times in order for you to acquire them? Will the game make you go through more and more encounters just to get one persona, creating a grind system that some players don't want but others do? Is this why there are adjectives in front of a persona's name? I know it's most likely just what their stats are, or what their stances or skins are. Can some personas flee a fight, making them the hard-to-acquire Abras of the game? We will have to wait and see. But if you already have the legitimate answer, then tell me in the comments, please. Well, that's my take on the system anyways. Like every video, I must ask, am I wrong or did I forget something? If I am or did, I will place a correction in the annotations. Do you have any questions or theories on this subject? Leave a comment down below, and if you want me to reply to it, start off the comment with the word red, and I'll get back to you. Sorry I haven't been posting as much, but last week was Father's Day weekend here in the US, so I was helping my parents out at their home, and even grilled a Father's Day dinner to wrap things up. I'll have more videos up this weekend, and I will start with a look back at the Mass Effect series this weekend, because I really want to get into Mass Effect Andromeda. Thanks for all who have been watching, sending the links, and being active in the comments. I may hate the hype train, but I like it when I see the community working together, putting things together, and making everybody so excited. Again, I cannot think of a closer, so goodbye.